Grand Sunrising family, Grand Sunrising. Yeah, I woke up this Grand Rising with questions, with a lot of questions. First, we're going to look at Mr. Putin of Russia in conjunction with a lot of other Democratic presidents and how not only Democrats, but we're going to look at period America's pattern, because it hasn't been only Democrats, it's been Republicans too. If you don't remember, President Bush, the younger Bush, during the time I served in the military, was fighting against uh, extremist terrorism across the seas, right? So let's take a look at how the elites move. Let's look at their MO, okay? We're going to look at their MO. And we're going to look at a group of people in a country who are programmed. This is rather important for us to examine this and see the patterns, and how we cannot be conned anymore into allowing things to just happen. As a whole, the people in America are very much programmed to propaganda, pandering, finesse, and what all that makes this possible is economics, the control of economics, control over the people's economics, okay? We're in a unique spot. We're in a spot where we've been pumped into our minds that we're great, America's great, right? Why can't we just be people living at peace? Why do we have to be compete? What is it about compete to the extent where lives are taken, where people are harmed, where people are damaged, destroyed, demolished? Is this a life? That's my question. That's my first question. Is this a life? Well, who would believe their country after years, decades, centuries of the same old, with dealing in relationships with other country politicians, when we're dealing with a politician at this moment? A politician who for years had a hard time becoming president, and how did he accomplish becoming president now is not hard to see why. Because he had a leg up with someone who wasn't a non-politician, because our people were addicted. People here in this country are addicted to the system moving the way as usual, okay? You're addicted to the system moving around the way it is moving around now with Biden. So you wanted more of the same, and you got more of the same. You got a condition where lies can be covered up, falsehoods can be covered up. You got a condition where realness does not live here anymore. Realness lived here with Trump because he wasn't a politician. You see, he's a businessman. So he understood what America was made upon, the business people, the people who built this country, the people, not not the elites, you see. But some reason some people are fooled on a constant basis, fooled. But don't be mistaken on this. Didn't Putin admit to America being the reason for its own cyber attacks? Everybody knows this. Every psychic, every person who's examined the situation already conspiracy theoried it to death, okay? Because they are continuing on a continuous basis conspiring. They are on a continuous basis conspiring. So I have to look at the character, and I look at the character, and I look that Putin was friends with Gaddafi, and no one could help Gaddafi. And I look at the situation with Gaddafi, and I have to say that I do not trust my own. I don't trust them because they are puppets. Puppets everywhere, right? So they have to play on this. And I want us to watch carefully what goes down on this. We see repeatedly them accusing Putin of cyber attacks. Why? Then they talk about releasing prisoners. Why are they over there in America? I mean, in Russia, anyways? Are they spying on the Russians? What were they guilty of? That's what I want to know. That's my question. First, second question, third question. You know, what are they guilty of? What were they doing over there? We know we send spies all over the place, meddling in other people's business. We even send scientists to go study the Kenyans' manhood so they can bring it down. So why should you trust a place that has been taken over by people who do not want peace? You know, Trump didn't have a problem with Putin. Putin didn't do cyber attacks against us a year ago or so. Why all of a sudden we got to question these things? We got to not be fools. We got to think deep and critical. We can't be retarded out here. I refuse to be retarded. I'm not going to let this country retard me. And it's very easy because right now they're making everything look, there's a lot of fake news and they're allowed to roll it out, So we have to be careful on these things. That's why I say when it says come out of this world and take a look and examine it from the outside. Don't be taking up anything. Just examine everything from outside. And then you can see. Okay, and the vaccines. Next subject is the vaccines. Why should I jeopardize my health because you're concerned for your health? It's a free world, actually. I don't just say it's a free country. I say it's a free world. I was born into it. God damn it, it's free. It's free to roam around and live peacefully. How and make the choices you want to make. You can choose to take the vaccine. That's fine. But why infringe upon others' refusal to put something that's going to make them feel unhealthy? You feel healthy doing the vaccine, but why not allow other people feel healthy not doing the vaccine? Who are they to say somebody's body is going to work the way it works for other people? We're all different bodies, chemical and everything else. So I don't get where someone else can tell someone, "Oh, you're going to get this really bad sickness that's coming along. It's part of COVID-19, but it's a worser it's a worse it's a more advanced COVID-19. So you have to get this vaccine before you get the advanced COVID-19. If you haven't even got the COVID-19, what makes you think you're going to get the advanced COVID-19? What makes you think that the people are going to get the worst sickness if they're not already sick with COVID? See, the mind is powerful. And the mind is powerful as far as our health and everything else is concerned as well. If you live in the way of feeling like you're sick and coming down with these imaginary world of diseases and infections and born with genetic defects, if you think that way about yourself, then maybe you're making those things happen in your world. But COVID-19 does not live here in this mind. It's ridiculous to me. It's something that doesn't exist for me. But I know what does exist when I do get sick and my body fights off that. That is real for me. When my body fights off sickness because it makes me stronger. See, but what's not real is someone coming along wanting to stick something in my body that don't belong in my body and cause a whole chain of reactions of different things happening to my body. You got to be out of your mind. If you think that everybody wants some of that vaccine, not everybody wants that vaccine. And in the free world, people don't have to do what everybody else does, what everybody else wants to do. Just it's you do what you want to do. You do what you want to do to benefit you. And speaking of benefiting you, the celebration y'all passed with flying colors for so-called quote unquote, quote unquote, how am I going to say this? The celebration of Juneteenth, supposedly for Black people, Nubian people, but it's not. It's not for us. It's not for us because we shouldn't be celebrating anything. We shouldn't be celebrating. We shouldn't be out here celebrating. We shouldn't be out here celebrating anything, really. What we got to celebrate? Did you give us our reparations while you're up there with that gavel? Did you pass that bill anonymously? But did you pass the bill for our reparations anonymously? No, you didn't. So I don't see why we're out here in record numbers going to celebrate something which is nothing compared to the main important thing that needs to be handled. Not crime in the Black community, but the thing that produced the crime in the Black community. And the thing that broke down the Black community was the stealing of our wealth. was the stealing of our wealth, our resources. So, my people, don't be mistaken. This bill wasn't passed for you. This bill was passed for the white people to feel safe, and it wasn't a reason for that benefits you. It was a reason to benefit them. Programming your subconscious mind for an attitude of gratitude. I don't think this is just applies to Blacking people. This applies to all people, because all people are programmed here in America. All people are programmed through propaganda, especially the foreigners that come here. They're programmed through propaganda, and that's the truth. I'm not lying. It's an age-old thing, you know. So who would be fooled today by this passing of this bill? Who? Are we seriously not awakened yet? Because being awakened it means that you're aware of what was really going on around you. You are now aware of what's really going on in the world around you. And you decide to step back out and take a look and examine and feel your way through with your true sense of self. Because you know that, let me get this picture, because this picture was a good depiction of what makes you you, what made you the artificial you. Here we go, this one right here. What made you artificial you, not the real you, because we have to stand back, we have to get out of that, and we have to examine what made us who we are, the real us. It's not society, it's not teachers, it's not parents, it's not family, it's not church, it's not bosses, it's not friends, it's not psychologists, it's not science, it's not authorities, it's not doctors, it's not gurus, it's not government, it's not media, it's not Elf. Who am I? Who am I really? Shanna, I need that. See, it's not none of these things. It's something before you were born. It's that soul that makes us who we are. But this is the artificial world that we think that makes up the ego. These are things that made up our ego right here. These are the things that made our artificial lower self. But we have to stand back and examine those things. I'm not saying do away with those things, because those things, you're going to have the physical along with your spiritual, you know. But you have to stand back and examine and ask questions and look back and, you know, critically think. Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. I refuse to be retarded. That means I refuse to only use a portion of my brain. I want to use my whole brain, my two brains, you know. And lastly, let's get in this conversation of mothers killing their children. Today, there's a woman going on trial. I remember the son was missing, and I was up in arms because it's in the city. Because, you know, when a child goes missing, hold on. mothers who who kill their children. You know, it's awful. And I heard a story. Hold on, let me get this. I was reading a story the other day, as well as having to deal with this case, looking at this case on television. Let me see, where is it at? She kind of messed up my thing. Okay. This was horrifying. And it's not far from here. But the other one, she's on trial today. And I look at her, and as they put her on the news, and I'm like wondering, how do you do this and still be sane? They tested her and everything, and they said there's nothing wrong with her. She's able to stand trial. But, you know, I don't get that. I really don't get how these mothers kill their children. And I look at the baby when they show them, and I think that was a person, and that person was taken out. Their life was shortened. Why would you bring a person into the world and then take them out? How can you? What kind of monster? What gravity? What kind of monster does that? That's a horrible monster. That is a horrible thing. And this story, I'm gonna try to pull it up and share it. Let me pull it up here. Let me search for it. It's just horrifying. And this is a horrifying one too. I don't get it at all. It's hard for me to hear this. I don't know why we have the news to tell these kinds of stories. They're horrific. It's just heart drenching. It's no, I don't get this. This is just a whole different devil. Let me share my screen with you guys on this news article. Okay, Shana, hold on. Okay, it says North Carolina girl's mother forced her to stand for 3 straight days, authorities say. Detectives discovered the little girl's body in May after following up on reports that she hadn't been seen for months. For months. And I guess I let the news flash play.
Hungry, Cheyenne. Cheyenne's hungry.
I don't know what I'm doing. Let me close this because I don't need it. I don't need that. Okay. It says a North Carolina mother allegedly forced a 4-year-old daughter to stand in the laundry room for 3 straight days as a punishment before her death last year, news search warrants reportedly reveal. Majelic Young, 4, died last year, but her remains weren't discovered until late May, when investigators found the little girl's body in her own backyard in North Carolina, North Charlotte, Carolina, right? North Charlotte. According to Fox 46 in Charlotte, the girl hadn't been seen since late summer of last year, before her body was found. Her mother, Malika Bennett, 31, has been charged with her alleged murder and child abuse. Bennett allegedly wouldn't allow her daughter to sit down or take breaks while she was in the laundry room last August, causing her to poop in her pants after the first day and to grow so weak by the third that she fell backwards out of the door and hit her head. The girl's 13-year-old sister told investigators, according to WBTV, WSOC TV in Charlotte. New York City girl who hid in a closet during murder, gifted trip to Disney World by NYPD detectives. The sister said her sibling died after the third day. She added that after Bennett unsuccessfully tried CPR, the mother wrapped the child's body in 2 plastic bags. Now, the mother is biracial. Now, they arrested her grandmother. I wonder if her grandmother is white. I looked her up on Facebook, and I think her mother is white because they were in the same state, in the same name. But this is the beautiful 4-year-old girl, the beautiful 4-year-old baby. And I look at this face and I'm like, this was a person. Couldn't her mother see the personality? She's just 4 years old, for crying out loud. 4-year-olds, they're children who don't have the mind yet to really grasp. If they do something wrong, you tell them, it's teaching moments. I don't get all this extreme punishment for this sweet little girl. I do not get that. I really don't. She deserved to live. How do you take life from something that was successfully brought into this world and has successfully made it to 4? How do you do that? I don't get that. I don't get this. This stuff is hard for me to even read. This stuff is hard for me to even, I don't want to see it. I don't want to read it, It's frustrating to me. It's very frustrating to me. So, I just have those questions, So, as long as we have news, as long as we have it invading our minds, and this horrible, horrible things, and people not recognizing why these horrible, horrible things exist, they're going to keep existing. So with that said, family, I bid you peace and greatness in your day. So with that said, always remember, seek true love, real peace, and the higher self within you, the soul. Till next time.